Arsenal surprises fans with a late transfer of yet another defender, and Arteta shocks everyone by announcing a new striker for £65 million. Want to know all the details? Then, follow me until the end of the video to not miss any important information. But before that, if you are also passionate about Arsenal, subscribe to the channel now and stay up to date with everything that happens behind the scenes of the biggest team in the Premier League. Without further ado, let's get to today's updates. We're approaching the final week of the window and so far, the Gunners haven't lifted a finger. Things could change towards the end of the month, and Walker-Peters could become an option for Arsenal. Arsenal move for former Tottenham defender Kyle Walker-Peters. Even though almost every Arsenal fan has been dreaming of a new striker, a versatile defender has been named as the most likely signing in this window. Mikel Arteta is said to be looking at a player who can play in both full-back positions, perhaps someone like Jurrien Timber, who was incredible for us in pre-season. There aren't many players in the world who can comfortably play on either side, but former Tottenham defender Kyle Walker-Peters has done it incredibly well at the top level. The Englishman, who was sold by Spurs to Southampton for £12 million in 2020, has been fantastic for the Saints over the last few years. Team Talk now claims that Walker-Peters is one player for Arsenal fans to keep an eye on in the final days of the transfer window next week. The 26-year-old is playing in the Championship for Southampton, and we're sure if an offer comes in, he'd jump at the chance of returning to the Premier League. Walker-Peters would be a smart signing for Arsenal. One of the biggest issues at Arsenal this season has been Jurrien Timber's injury. The Dutchman was brought in last summer to solve issues across the backline, but unfortunately for us, he suffered a very serious knee injury on his Premier League debut and has been out since. Kyle Walker-Peters is definitely not on the same level as Timber, but for the right price, we think he would be a very clever addition. He can play in both full-back positions, has solid Premier League experience, and as a bonus, it would annoy Tottenham fans. That's enough to convince us, but whether Southampton would be willing to let him go in the coming days remains to be seen. Arsenal are on the hunt for a new goalscorer, and Porto forward Emile is the latest name to emerge as a potential acquisition for the role. The Gunners have been heavily linked with Ivan Toney, and Bayer Leverkusen forward Victor Boniface is said to be a fan of the North London club, giving Arsenal an edge in the race for his signature. However, according to Football Transfers, Mikel Arteta now has his eye on Emile, who it is thought could be prized away from the Portuguese side for a fee in the region of £65 million. It is easy to see why the Spanish coach would find himself so enamored with the 24-year-old, too. Emile has been in fine form so far this season, racking up 16 goals in 23 appearances, across all competitions, for Porto. However, it won't be a real challenge for the attacker to replicate that form and generate such end product in the Premier League. After all, he would be taking a significant step up in terms of standards by making the move to the Premier League. As a warning, Emile need only look to former Porto gem Fabio Vieira, who has so far struggled to justify his £34 million price tag since making his move last summer. Emile has Arsenal connections in Fabio Vieira and Gabriel Martinelli. Emile will know Vieira well from the time they shared at Porto, and he also shares a connection with Gabriel Martinelli, who he is likely familiar with from representing Brazil at youth level together. When Martinelli posted a picture of himself and Vieira, who is his closest friend at Arsenal, on Instagram in March 2023, Emile responded, saying, "What a duo. If Emile does come to Arsenal, he will be hoping to have an impact more similar to Martinelli's, who is now a nailed-on starter on the left wing, rather than Vieira, who is much further down the pecking order." All in all, though, given his price tag and the level he plays at, the Gunners may be wise to eschew any kind of deal for Emile, and instead focus their efforts on trying to sign a striker who has already proven himself in a top league. In any case, a move for a striker of any kind is likely beyond Arsenal's reach this month, given the limited financial resources that Arteta currently has to work with. In a recent interview, a journalist reveals when Thomas Partey could return to Arsenal. Arsenal star Thomas Partey has missed most of this season with injury, but there is now more positive news as he is set to return soon. The 30-year-old has been absent since October with a thigh issue, and Arsenal have missed him, as they are lacking depth in the back line and could also benefit from his presence in midfield. Partey missed Ghana's unsuccessful AFCON campaign because of his injury, but now appears on the verge of making a return to action, in what will be a massive boost for Mikel Arteta ahead of a crucial few weeks. Arsenal ended their poor run of form with a 5-0 victory over Crystal Palace, but face tougher tests against Nottingham Forest and Liverpool next week. But if Partey is available, then they will be much more confident for those games. But when will Thomas Partey be able to return to Arsenal? Speaking on his YouTube channel, journalist Charles Watts revealed that Partey is set to return to training this week, and could even be included in the matchday squad against Nottingham Forest. From what I'm hearing, the plan hopefully is that he could return to training this week, and that he potentially could feature against Forest on Tuesday night, Watts stated. That is the plan. Obviously, that can all change, it all depends how things go, and the final decision has to be taken during the week. But the plan, as far as I'm aware, is that he's going to come back to training this week, which of course will be great news. If everything does stay on track and Thomas Partey does return, it'd be fantastic news for Arsenal, because there's no doubt they have missed him, and if he can come back, and he can stay fit, then he's going to have a huge impact on Arsenal's second half of the season. When he's fit and he's firing, there are not many midfielders better than Thomas Partey in this league. Partey's return could be season-defining for Arsenal. Arsenal have been linked with several midfielders for the summer, as it appears that they are no longer relying on Partey to stay fit. However, for the rest of this season, if he can find his best form without picking up further injuries, it would be massive for Arteta. Although Jorginho has impressed in recent weeks, Kai Havertz has disappointed in midfield, and a trio of Partey, Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard would be almost perfectly balanced. With Arsenal aiming to claw their way back into the title race, they will likely see their performances improve when Partey returns. And the prospect of him and Rice lining up together could be the difference between a title challenge and disappointment in the coming weeks. And finally, we have Arteta discussing the possible departure of Rowe. Mikel Arteta has made it clear that he would like Emile Rowe to stay at Arsenal this month. West Ham attempted to sign the Hale End graduate on loan last week, and the midfielder's minutes have been limited this term. But speaking last Friday, Arteta stressed, "I'm really happy with Emile. He's on the right trajectory now, he's settled and he's training really well. You know that I'm not going to talk about any individual situation." Arteta then added, "Emile is Emile. He's got incredible qualities. We are really happy to have him, and what he needs now is chances to put all those desired qualities on the pitch. In order to do that, we have to give him minutes." Well, folks, those were today's news. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay informed about everything happening with our beloved team, you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel now and hit the bell so you won't miss any updates. Thanks for joining us, and see you in the next video.